that stressing on intermission and only talk about winning. We all want to have a good time. It's in the spirit. I know. Yep, Vibe Show 97.9. Listen, man, we are back with another amazing show. Y'all already know how we do it. Listen, when it comes to the art of hip hop poetry, this guy here, this king is one of its own and a pioneer, a trendsetter who has definitely knocked down the impossible doors, taking the arts of poetry directly to mainstream music and television arenas. Y'all don't want to miss this special guest that I got coming up. So I'm telling you, y'all need to make sure that y'all keep it locked in. Y'all already know the vibes. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Oh. Vibing on the highest level is the Vibe Show 97.9. I'm your host, Kano the Don, the Vibe King. Listen, man, I'm super excited for this episode that we have coming up. We've been waiting on this one. Fan mail been going crazy. They were super excited when they seen the promotions go up and everything. I got some fan email in. I'm gonna try to get a few questions in, but it's a plethora of questions in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love this guy right here. I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about, but I'm talking about Grammy, let's be clear, two-time Grammy Award winning spoken word artist, songwriter, and amazing author. I'm talking about the one and only. Y'all know this guy, J.IVY. Let's get him in here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm blessed, King. How you doing? King on the Don. Let's go.
Yo, man. Look, I gotta keep it real, man. I'm having a fan moment here. Okay. You gotta excuse me, man. I'm super excited right now, and I'm honored. It's definitely an honor from the whole Vibe family, man. We just want to thank you for your time, just coming on here vibing out with us, man.
Oh man, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for the love and the honor. The honor is also felt, man. So thank you.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. I want to try to get through this stuff, man, as much as I can. A lot of things that I'm excited to know about, to just be able to ask you about just directly. So I definitely want to get into it. I want to go back to your roots, though. I got to start there because, growing up in Chicago, I got to know what that was like for you, and how were you able to navigate that as a youth through all of the chaos and different things that's been going on. We all know the history out there, the gang violence, and, but you navigated your way through it. And I have to know, how were you able to dodge all of that?
God, man, I really feel like I was just protected my entire life, especially in them early days, being a child coming up, and the streets being what they were, what they are. It's between just being blessed by God, protecting, and having that village, that village that looked out, family, friends, the block, neighbors, and just and being aware as well, just always being conscious of where I was at, what the situation was. And I think I was blessed. It was definitely a lot going on. I come up in the era where folks was getting snatched up for their Jordans and they starter coats, and, the crack era and all that. So made it through, man. I think I was just protected. I think I was protected, still am, and thank God for it.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that, because, man, growing up when you were youth, it's so easy to get caught up in those traps, because we surrounded by it. You know what I mean? Moms, pops, everybody tried to do the best that they can to try to protect us from that. But when we start moving around as we're growing and we got to walk to school, and once we get to school and we away from them, then it's pretty much all of the things that was embedded in us as kids and youth growing up or whatever, taking heed to that when those obstacles do, we face those obstacles or whatever, we got to just use our better judgment and try to go against that. You know what I mean? So I definitely applaud you on that, because you're definitely chosen, I feel, and you're definitely blessed with a God-given gift that you are utilizing, because a lot of us have those gifts and talents and skills that we never even discover or even move towards our purpose and utilizing those skills, and you have, and I definitely commend you on that, man. That's just great, because you're definitely an asset to the culture. We need you, so definitely thank God for that.
Man, thank you, man. Yeah, it's amazing when you just look at how life will guide you, and how the path rolls out in front of you. I think back, like even thinking back to the young days, I think about my uncles being in my ear, and mom
Right.
taking me down on Roosevelt, and showing me where the homeless lived at, and it's like, yo, if you don't go to school, this is where you go end up. You had those
Right.
moments that 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 you get those glimpses of reality. Let alone going to school with cats that would turn out to be some real gangsters.
Right.
Um, one I remember this cat I fought when I was like third, fourth grade. He in prison for life right now.
Right.
One of my best friends in prison for life. And it's the environment, but to be aware is to be alive. You gotta keep the antennas high, and
Right.
and move as wisely as you can.
Let me ask you this, Jay, man. Because I think about this all the time, because I always, and you may be the same way, I don't know. I find myself reflecting back on, because you mentioned something that really sparked this thought. We did have in our era, because we're around the same age, we did have in that era more resources, family wise, neighbors, and different people who actually cared, even all the way down to the teachers and stuff like that, who actually cared and would pull up to the house and stuff like. Do you think that we are lacking that in 2023? You think that things are so out of control now, or a lot of the forefathers or Grams and them gone now, a lot of the people who was the glue and the foundation, you think a lot of them passed on, a lot of us, we didn't pick up the torch and carry it on or whatever? You think that that's what's lacking within the culture as far as with the younger generation, as why it's so out of control?
Yeah, I definitely think it's lacking. I think part of the question is why, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
generation after generation after generation, the elders were there and listened to the kids, may have got a little wilder each generation, but we still kept it close to home, still had respect and values. And I don't know, I think now a lot of it, I think it's a combination of things. Economics, I think it's like you said, the big mamas and papas they not there, or maybe they're there and not revered the way they used to be. Maybe it's technology, maybe technology is a gift and a curse. So where we were more tight knit coming up, because it wasn't too often uh, that we didn't have those exchanges of humanity, because we didn't have phones in our hands, and
Right.
yeah, we had the TV, yeah, Nintendo rolled around eventually, but the VCR things like this, like we saw the inventions of microwaves and VCR
Right.
and CDs, but it was still like it still wasn't so isolated the way it is now. We still had times, around the dinner table, or times around that favorite TV show. Maybe everybody was gathered up watching the Cosby Show, whatever. As
Right.
like technology grew, it's like our connection started to diminish. So I think we absolutely have to do a better job as a village, as a community, to reconnect. That's why I always try and do in my art, my poetry, try and send out those reminders, those smoke signals, like, hey y'all, we gotta get back to
Right.
grandma's Sunday dinners, like we gotta get back to that.
That's what I love about you, and I think that that's what separates you from the pack. You know what I mean? Like you are running in a lane of your own, with dedicating and being passionate for, because you could have took a whole different way to get into business, and you know how it go, man. I mean, you're a professional, you in this business, and you've been on this journey for quite some time, you know, even with reaching the level that you're on right now, which is a total blessing, from all of the work that's been being put in over the years. And you know, it feels good to accomplish the things that you've accomplished, and it makes somebody like myself proud, man. Like, and I fuel off of that, just seeing one of our own within the culture, going against the narrative of that's what's being painted right now. You think that everything that's kind of being done with, where you at now and where you started at on the journey, and where we come from as youth, and working our way up now as into adults and fathers, and ourselves or whatever, looking back at that, do you think that it's all strategically done this way for a certain reason, to control the narrative fully, or what do you think? Just your perspective on it.
As far as like, or like media and things like that.
Just media. I would say media. I would say, like you said, technology is a gift and a curse, as well, because it's also to the point now to where community, nobody likes to physically talk, and it ties back into what you were saying. We didn't really have all the devices, which we know that, you know, evolution has to evolve, we understand that, but at the same time it is kind of dividing us, in a way too, and that bothers me as well, because nobody likes to communicate physically anymore. Everybody wants to text, everybody's talking through text, or everybody's showing everything on social media, every aspect. Is that the new way of communicating now, or what?
Yeah, man. I think it all starts and ends with the spirit. You
Mm,
know, I think we're spiritual beings. It's something, a lesson I've learned over the years with spiritual beings having a human experience. And I think when you have, you know, things like technology or propaganda or unhealthy food or low vibration music, or
right,
when you have these, not to mention the layers of history of division and racism and segregation
right, right.
and poverty, and like when you have all these divisions that stacked on top of each other, I think it builds walls that cause us to forget to tap into the spirit. Like how
Mm,
we go connect, we got to connect on spiritually. You know,
right.
it's that energy, it's that exchange. But if we not even getting to the to the point of connecting, then how can you build those relationships? How can you walk out your house onto the block and have a relationship with your environment if everybody's head down and in their bubbles, in their world? We gotta bring out those bubbles. We gotta start
Right.
looking up again, because the division is causing more chaos, more
Yeah.
depression, more, just more heaviness, more, it's just causing more disconnect. So we got to find ways to connect. We got to find ways, and we got to keep tearing those walls down and peel back the layers so we can help heal our communities.
Right. Now, you know, I find it interesting, because your story is interesting as well, and I've been intrigued by it. And like I said, you know, to me, you are motivation, for me and a lot of your fans as well. But you know, this ties back in to, what we were talking about with having those form of people present who actually can see the goodness in you, even when we don't even see it. And I'm saying that to say, I want to talk about this high school teacher who actually, saw the gift in you. Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit for us? I want my listeners to really understand this.
Yeah, man. So I went to Rich Central High School in the south suburbs of the Chi, and my junior year, I had a teacher, English teacher named Miss Argue. And one day, Miss Argue, she gives the class homework assignment to write a poem.
Right, right.
I wasn't into poetry,
Really?
yeah, like I'm a hip hop baby, so the MCs, those are my poets. Those are my griots. I wasn't into traditional poetry outside of what was taught in school. So Maya Angelou, Langston Hughes, or Robert Frost, or Carl Sandburg, or somebody. But I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with the last poets and Gil Scott Heron and Amir
Right.
at that time. So anyway, I mean, I was good at writing notes to girls, because it was before the phones, but I didn't think that was a gift.
Right.
So I go home and I want to go outside and hoop with my guys, but I'm like, let me write this poem. So I ain't know what to write about because she didn't give us no particular subject. And I look out the window, I see some clouds, and I'm like, all right, once was a cloud. So I wrote this poem, what I thought was a silly little poem, and I come to class the next day expecting to turn it in, turn my homework in. And Ms. Argue, she makes the whole class read that poem in front of everybody. So I was a very shy kid, lacked confidence. So the idea of speaking in front of the class, in front of my guys who had 1,000 jokes already, here I come with this cloud poem. I'm like, it wasn't a good feeling. And I remember reading the poem, and after class, Ms. Argue pulls me to the side, and she took the poem from me, and she wrote an A on it. And then
Right.
and then she's like, you have a nice speaking voice, got this talent show coming up. I want you to do this talent show. I'm like, nah, Ms. Argue. The shy kid was like,
you're taking it too far now.
I ain't trying to do that. You went from 0 to 100, 20 seconds. That ain't it.
Yeah.
So I didn't do the show. A few weeks goes by, Ms. Argue approached me again. She said, you know what? Last time I asked you to do a show, you faked me out. I got another one. This time I asked you to do it. You have to do it. She makes me do this show, and my first time ever on stage, as scared and terrified as I was in the moment, I got a standing ovation.
Oh man,
my whole life just changed. It was like a light went off, and I went from feeling unseen, unheard to, oh wow, I'm not invisible. Oh, y'all do hear me. Oh man, this is incredible. I got teachers and students and classmates clapping up on their feet, clapping. And I'm like, Ms. Argue, when the next show? When the next show? I gotta do this again.
Right.
So then on out, I just started doing every assembly we had, every talent show, Martin Luther King assembly, Kwanzaa show, the Black History Month show, like anything we had going on, any assembly, I was speaking at or emceeing it. And been doing it ever since, man. So much love to Ms. Argue. She changed my life, and we've been I've been riding that inspiration for decades at this point.
Man, big shout out to her for that, man. Like literally, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying, because like if you wasn't doing that, or doing what you're doing right now, it's like, do you ever think about that? Like, man, like what would J.IVY be doing right now?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea where I would be. I can't imagine any other life. I just can't. I don't know if I maybe just would have worked a job. I don't know what I would have did. Because I mean, poetry, it naturally came to me. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with performing. The more I performed, the more I wanted to write. So I'm falling in love with writing, falling in love with discovering these ideas, these dreams, discovering myself, of having a release, a escape, having that non-judgmental best friend of mine to talk to when I really needed to talk. And I wasn't doing it for any other reason but just the pure love of it. And I'm so happy that it came into my life when it did. It was one of those pivotal moments, young man, 16, 17. It was a pivotal time in life. So to know that I was at a fork in the road that I didn't even know was there. It was like and everything was pointing me in this direction, like go right, go right, go right, go right, like go right. And I just kept writing, kept performing. And man, it's taken me all over the world. It's introduced me to most amazing people in the world. I'm here doing things like this because of it, winning awards.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get into that, man.
Yeah,
Like,
creating albums, creating work that people love and appreciate. Like it's just amazing to see. So to your question, I have no idea.
right,
Like knowing that, like looking back and seeing everything that I've been able to do and have plans to do, just imagining all that being pent up somewhere and you know and overlooked.
right.
Oh man, probably would have been a torture soul.
Man, I love that, you know, and the thing about it is, you know, even with everything that you've accomplished, and if that's not inspiration for people, and that's what I'm saying, you know, it could have went a different way. That's why it's important. And I like the fact that you are, you know, doing interviews and sharing your story or whatever, because that's the type of stuff that inspire people who right at the brink of giving up or right at the brink or not having, because sometimes that's really all it takes is for somebody else to see the good in you. You know what I mean? So again, shout out to let's shout her out again, man. What's
Yeah, Miss Paula
Miss
Argue.
Miss Paula Argue.
Paula.
Listen, man, Vibe Show 97.9. We just in here vibing out with the one and only two-time Grammy Award winning J.IVY, man. We got to go pay some bills. We be right back. Y'all keep it locked. It's the Vibe Show.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can't get better looking than this guy. So we got to make sure he's feeling as good as he looks. Right.
And we're back with the one and only J.IVY. Now, Jay, you know, going from, you know, that reaching heights, finding that passion, actually tapping into it, finding something that you actually fell in love with, and started to build on that. Then going from that to also becoming an inspiration as an author. Like what fueled that too? Because I know a lot of people, everybody feel like it's easy to just write a book. You see somebody writing a book and I'm gonna write me a book too or whatever, but it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. And you know, what inspired you to want to elevate it up again, go up another notch with it?
Yeah, I mean, well, writing a book that was something I wanted to do since the beginning.
Right.
I remember when I was in college, I went to Illinois State, ISU Redbirds, and I ain't finished there, but you know, I was there. I was there for a minute, you know.
Right.
But I remember when I was there, I just got really, really bit by this bug, man, and I was writing. And I go to the computer lab and type them up and send them home to my mom's. And I remember my mom's calling. It was like, I think you should do a book. I was like, I ain't even been writing a whole year yet. She was like, matter, you got enough poetry for a book. You should do a book. So that seed was planted early of wanting to have my own books. As a poet, I always wanted to write my story, tell my story. Now it took a minute. Like I remember writing, I wrote one book back in like 2002, but it's one thing to write a book. It's hard to write a book. That's one thing, but then it's even harder to get it out. You know, so with Dear Father, Breaking the Cycle of Pain, that was a book I wrote back in 2013, 14. And it came out in 15, and it's been just a huge blessing. It's been Dear Father centered around a poem I wrote to my pops after he had passed or after he transitioned. And he, man, I really feel like myself and my father developed a strong connection spiritually since writing the poem that inspired the book.
Right.
The poem was just centered around the power of forgiveness, you know. And I have a quote that says, "If you don't deal with your emotions, one day your emotions go deal with you."
That's right.
And I found myself in these wrestling bouts with my feelings and my emotions and depression and anxiety and just fighting and fighting and fighting just to be happy,
Mhm.
just to feel like I'm enough and
Right.
just to feel worthy to be here, worthy to be blessed, worthy to wake up every day and so I was wrestling with all these feelings and I wrote this poem because a lot of the pain was I found was being tied back to my father not
Mhm.
being
Mhm.
there when I was younger. Well, he was there when I was younger, but then after my folks got divorced, I ain't see or hear from for 10 years, over 10 years. We
Yeah.
reconnected, but a year and a half after we reconnected, he is when he made his transition. So I'm just going through it, going through roller coaster of emotions. And I wrote this poem, Dear Father, and there were tears on the page when I wrote it, but when I finished writing it, that weight that I've been carrying for
Mhm.
years, it just felt like it lifted off of me.
Right.
So, over the years, I would perform this poem, and so many conversations were sparked because of it. So many folks who had issues with their fathers or their mothers or a sibling or a friend, or it just turned into all these conversations. So when I finally had an opportunity, um, where I was approached by a book publisher, uh,
Right.
Simon and Schuster and Beyond Words is an imprint of Simon and Schuster. I was approached by them to do a book. At the time, I was like, man, well, I keep having these conversations
Right.
centered around Dear Father. So let me write this story. So the book is the story. Um, it's my journey leading up to me writing this poem and the healing I got from it. So
Wow.
definitely everybody check it out, man. It's a powerful book, powerful tool as well for those that are going through it, but don't really know how to talk to someone about it or just don't know what to do with those feelings. I think it's a great source of healing for everybody.
Man, I really appreciate you sharing that with us too. And it kind of hit me different too, because when you're speaking on your pops or whatever, like, my pops was absent as well. And we didn't really have that relationship like that. So I definitely can relate, and I really appreciate that. And I'm definitely going to grab me a copy of that book, Dear Father, man, because I suffer, and I still think I suffer with it a little bit too. A lot of questions and stuff like that, man. Of because I'm the oldest and I'm your first, and it's like, why why you wasn't there for me type stuff, and all of that or whatever. But I also try to look at it from a mature standpoint, like, well, I don't know what those times was or whatever at that time. Maybe he might, I don't know. You know what I mean? But those questions do. So there may be something that I could get out of that book that could allow me to release that as well. Because it impacts me in a way sometimes, when you're seeing people
Yeah,
fall in their lives and stuff like that. And you'd be like, dang, man, a lot of things I could have probably avoided if my dad was around to install that fear in me of, like, whenever those obstacles arose, I wasn't as fearless with, like, well, whatever, because I'm hearing my dad's voice, like, or, I know I'm gonna get toe up or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate you for that, man.
yeah, no, man, I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, one of the things I learned is like you never know what trauma someone else is carrying. And I think, when you're a child, looking up at these giants in the sky,
Right,
they become heroes. They become these indestructible human beings. But
right.
but when you get older, you realize, oh,
Yeah,
same flesh, same hurt, same pain.
yeah,
They've been through some things, and I learned a lot um about the trauma that my father had gone through. That's not excusing what happened, but the understanding definitely helps me lean into empathy more than anything, and lean into love. Is like, man, okay, I just want to have that love. And I will say this, man, like when my father transitioned, I remember somebody telling me, it was like, man, when you lose somebody close, just know uh, that there's an angel that knows your name.
Really? Now, that's the first time I ever heard that, Jake. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, I mean, when we have our ancestors, we have our angels, our guardian angels, and the things that began to happen after my father made his transition, it was mind blowing. It was like months later, I'm in Nashville making moves. We moved down, me and my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time, J.IVY, incredible singer songwriter. We moved to Nashville, and things just started happening that way, and we started gaining momentum. I ended up getting on Def Poetry while being there. This is literally maybe, man, like not that long after, maybe like a year or so. It's like doors just started opening. I ended
Right.
up doing a record with Kanye and Jay-Z, Never Let Me Down on the College Dropout. And it was
Love
like I just kept finding myself in these moments, and it was just incredible to see doors open. And I just kept feeling like yeah, my gift will make way. Like
Right.
God go bless you. But I just felt like I had somebody looking over my shoulder, like, I got you. Boom, move that out the way. Move that out the way. Okay, they ain't good for you. They are good for you. You know what, man? You should go this way. Like, I just feel like I got that extra protection. I do feel like there's an angel that knows my name. Like, I hear his voice. He talks to me. He,
I love that, man.
me keep my foot on the gas. Like, he keeps,
Yeah. I love that, Jay. I'm not gonna even lie to you, man. I never heard it put that way, but I definitely I'm eating that, and I'm definitely processing it. I'm gonna let that manifest in my spirit for sure. So I definitely appreciate you, and I know that definitely gonna hit some other people out there as well with that. I love that. Now I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna say a name, and I want you to tell me immediately what comes to mind when I say this. Tara Teray.
J.IVY. Oh, love, man. Just love. Super, super caring about everyone. Genius. Smartest person I've met. Um, Beautiful. Just drop dead. Like, oh my God. Or if you're not dropping dead, what you lifting life? She lifting life gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just beautiful. Like, and I feel secure. She helps me with my confidence, and the way she believes in me is just, it's like jet fuel. So I mean, music comes to mind. Like, her voice is so beautiful, so healing. Everybody go listen to her album Catching Feelings. That comes to
She's coming. She's
oh,
coming.
yeah,
Come on, man. It wouldn't be right, man.
yeah. I mean, she the truth, man. I feel blessed to call her my wife and call her my best friend, and my stage mate and business partner. Like, she's just incredible, man.
How do you keep it going, though? How do you? Because I feel like what you guys are exhibiting, we're lacking that nowadays. You know what I mean? With so many distractions, relationships, marriages, all of these things could be complicated in 2023 with so much distraction. And then now, both you guys are in the entertainment business, which it's 10 times more distractions and more things that could derail you from off of that organic love, because clearly you guys have organic love. And you guys are glued together, and you guys are standing on that. But can you just tell me, like, from your perspective, because you are living this with your wife, and you guys are exhibiting the opposite of what we are seeing every day, just logging on or walking out your door or whatever. It's a different level of living that we're living in right now. How do you guys navigate through that and keep it tight, even with being in the industry together?
Man, whole lot of love, man. Love, whole lot of prayers, whole lot of communication. Even when I don't want to talk, I know that She reminds me that is necessary to have that dialogue. And it's definitely distractions, it's definitely pitfalls, it's definitely, I mean, it's like you said, dealing with the industry, it's a lot being thrown at you all the time. So you gotta stay conscious. And I always go back to I remember having this conversation with God. I was praying and I was like, man, God, and this was early in my career. I was like, man, God, I need protection, because I saw where things were going and how things were beginning to trend
Mm-hmm.
popular level. I'm like, okay, more and more people are starting to know who I am. And I remember praying and like, man, God, I need protection.
Right.
And my response, what I heard was, I sent you her. And
Wow.
and I always go back to that. I don't know, even, like how you asked me about, like, where would you be without poetry?
Mm-hmm.
No idea. Where would I be without Tari Teray? I have no idea. I have
Damn.
no idea. I probably would have been buck wild and having fun.
I mean, of course, it all comes with. I mean, because as your popularity and your fame grows, we both know in this entertainment business that things become more accessible to you.
Yeah.
The conversations. I mean, you don't even have to have a conversation with a woman no more. You know what I mean? Because it's way more of that than it is of what you and your beautiful wife have. We
Right.
know that definitely. So I know that, like you said, it's a bunch of prayers. You prayed that, and God basically gave you an angel
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
protect you, to guide you, to keep you motivated, to keep you inspired. Man, that in itself, Jay, I'm not gonna lie, man, that's an ultimate blessing right there, to have a queen like that on your side. And I definitely applaud that,
Man, thank you, man. I think you gotta ask yourself the question, man. Like, are they filling you up or are they draining your cup? Like, which one
man.
is it? Like,
I like that.
matter of fact, I gotta write that
That's
down.
a shirt, man. Seriously, man. That's merch right there, man. Like, seriously, man. Like, that's
Draining your cup.
crazy.
Yeah, you hear that on the next album.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's September.
Man, that we wouldn't, it wouldn't be right to I want to show you this, and then we're going to go into because it's a huge milestone in your career, and I know that it's something that you are extremely proud of, because I mean, I'm proud of it as well too, and it's a huge accomplishment that's not easy to accomplish. When I show you this, I want to know, you tell me what comes to mind.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I love that, bro. I love that. I'm serious, man. Like, that's pure, that's supreme confidence, man. That's somebody who comes from
Yeah.
nothing to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me how that make you feel when you look at that visual.
Man, so proud. So proud. I think a bit of everything just flows through the front of your mind, from Chicago and
Mhm.
family I was born to. Mind you, like, talking about my pops, I would, when I was a shorty, I would listen to my dad on the radio before I would
Right.
walk to school in the morning. Like,
Really?
he's doing what you do.
Right.
He did radio. He was a storyteller, and so I know that he's a big part of, things opening up for me. I think about my mom's and all her advice, my brothers, my friends. I think all the classmates I had. I think about everybody that encouraged me along the way. Like, man, what you're doing is dope. Keep going. And mind you, I started in the era where, like, poetry wasn't a super.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, it wasn't like the most popular thing to be doing. I
Right.
remember almost getting in fights in college about, cats coming at me about doing poetry. Oh, you soft, you doing it. Like, what? Like, you questioning what? Like, it used to
Right.
be it was some of that, it was some of the hate, but it was more love than anything. So when I see that image, I think about every poet that inspired me, every poet that came before me and opened up tremendous doors. I think about the next generation of poets that's gonna see
Right.
something like that and aspire to do what we've been able to do. And I just proud, man, proud. I think again, I think about my family, think about my city, think about just the art form and the culture that poetry, the impact that poetry has on it. So yeah, man, happy too, man. Happy, boy. I cried so many tears,
I
man.
know you did, man.
About 3 weeks. Like, man, we actually did it. Like, we actually like this actually happened, you know.
Right,
So I remember, like, I was looking at the video of that the other day. Again, I hadn't seen it in a few months.
right,
I was it's all over again, man. I felt like I won the Super Bowl, the Olympics. You
right.
know? Like, it's that feeling, man. It's that feeling.
Man, I just, you know, just wonder what that feeling feels like, you know what I mean, to actually you know, have your name called. Were you aware that you were getting it, or was it just out of the blue? Just they
It wasn't out of the blue. Like, I was like, you confident, but nothing's promised. Like, I was nominated last year
right.
with so there was a spoken word category. Historically, it's been a spoken word category but that category included poetry, audio books.
Mhm.
So last year I was nominated. First poet, Sekou Andrews was nominated a few years before that, maybe 2 years before that. Historically, Maya Angelou's the only poet that have ever won a Grammy. She's won 3. Nikki Giovanni has been nominated before. So mind you, I was nominated last year alongside LeVar Burton, Don Cheadle, Dave Chappelle, Mir Suleiman, another phenomenal poet, and Barack Obama and J.IVY. So here I am, but most of those, like, except for Dave and the Mirrors Project, they were all audiobooks. So I'm going up. My poetry album is up against these audiobooks.
Right.
I felt good. I felt confident. I'm like, I know Barack and Dave and Don in here, but I feel kind of good.
Yeah, yeah.
When they read off the nominations at the Grammys, the room went up when they called my name. Like,
what?
Went up. I was like, yo, am I about to stand up? Like, I'm like, is this happening? And then they was like, the winner, Don Cheadle. I was like,
wow, right.
Like, I got that. Like, that was fresh. That was in Vegas, 2022, April 2022. They had pushed the Grammys back.
Right.
To find myself nominated again in November, I'm like, oh my God! But this is after we created a new category that I advocated for 6 years. I worked on this with I learned the submission process with the Grammys, and I got that information to the poets, and then I was able to help get the submissions from poets up over the time, and then we then I wrote a proposal to the Recording Academy asking them to make this split, you know, to put so poets will have our own category, like take the audiobooks out of it, because the audiobooks was dominating the spoken word category.
Absolutely.
The art form that the culture defines as spoken word. So this proposal was asking to split it, and the Board of Trustees, which I'm the first poet to be a trustee in the history of the Grammys. I'm in the room along with Yolanda Adams and PJ Morton and John Legend and all these incredible names in the industry, Rico Love, Omar Keith, Green, just a lot of big names in the industry. And we voted on it, it passed, and I bawled out in that moment, just knowing that there was now a space at the Grammys.
Exactly. That's huge, man.
Like that, like I was sitting right here when it happened on a Zoom, and when the vote came up that it was yes, I raised my hand. I was like, y'all don't understand how many lives this is gonna change. This is historic, you know, from generations to come. This is something that poets and the culture and the arts will celebrate.
Yes.
And then I had to cut my camera off because I'm just like,
yes,
bawling, trembling, So then that was in June. So then the category was announced. Well, that was May. I think that may have been May. Category was announced in June. Nominations came up in November. And this is a moment going back to my dad, man. So November 15th is the day my father transitioned.
Right.
And over the course of this time, he transitioned back in 99. And there's always been these moments here and there that he would remind me that he's present, that he's helping, that he's opening up doors.
Right.
So some months after the category was announced, some months later, they announced that the nominations will happen on November 15th.
Man, come on, man. Hold up, man. Are you serious?
On November 15th, man, a historic moment. First time 5 poets are being nominated in the history of the Grammys. And then I'm one of those 5.
Right.
And man, it was just like, all right, Dad. All right, thank you. Let's go. So yeah, it was incredible, man. Like, and then to get to the show, to get to the actual show and you know, go through Grammy week, which was off the charts. And
I got to chime in because the suit, my brother.
Oh yeah, you know,
shut it down now.
Yeah,
I mean, was that planned or what? Did we just, did you grab it out the closet, or you was like, I got to get something that's just, I want to stand out. I want to make a statement here. This is monumental. Like, I want to know that too now, because the suit, I mean, you shut it down, bro. Like, it was razor sharp.
Yeah, no, that's, man, big shout out to my brother, man, Guy Woods of 5001 Flavors. That was all him. Like, Guy, he did my suit last year for the Grammys, and my buddy Evan Bogart, phenomenal songwriter. He wrote Beyonce's Halo. He wrote Halo.
Yes.
So when I got nominated last year, he was like, man, bro, he's like, what you go wear? And I was like, man, I don't know. I was like, I just know it got to be fly. He was like, you got to wear the words. So last year, did me a suit, black suit with I have a poem on my album Catching Dreams, which was nominated last year.
Fire.
And the poem is the first poem is The World Needs More Poets. So the suit was draped with The World Needs More Poets.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
This year, I'm like, man, do we wear the words again? He's like, nah, B, he from the Bronx. Nah, B, we did that last year, B. He's like, I got something for you, you know. And I was like, and I just felt like The Poet Who Sat by the Door, my album that was nominated at the time, I felt like we had a great chance. And I'm like, man, this is gonna be historic because this is the first. And Maya Angelou is the only other poet to have won. So this is gonna be very historic to stand in that light. As the only other poet besides Maya Angelou to ever bring home a Grammy for a poetry project, as well as the first to be nominated in this new category. So I'm like, it got to be fly because these pictures go live throughout time.
Right.
And he's like, got you, B. I got you, B. And then he sent me like a swatch, and I was like, oh man, bro. I was like, I don't know, man. I ain't never wore pink before. He was like, nah, B, that ain't pink. That's mauve. I was like, mauve? What's mauve? It's mauve. Mauve or mauve, whatever you got. I was like, all right, I got on mauve. All right, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, big shout out to Guy Wood, man.
Big shout out, man.
He got me clean, man. And I was at the United Nations. I performed at the United Nations
man.
Yeah, in May. And he did my suit for that one. And he, like, whenever I have a big event, like when I went on The View,
go-to guy.
Yeah, he hooked me up on The View, hooked me up on a few joints I've done. I did joint with Al Roker. Well, he didn't do that one. I did, but I was on Al Roker. Interviewed me. So yeah. But the entire moment, man, just being suited, hitting the red carpet,
actually being there.
Like, I remember a time where I didn't know it was possible to go to the Grammys.
Right.
That was just some far, far away place in the industry that I never saw myself being there. Even when Kanye won, I was at the parties, but I wasn't at the show. So to be there at the show and hit the carpet with Tari looking amazing and knowing that Like we might be bringing some Grammys home. It was incredible. And then to sit there, and I remember they called off the nominations, and after they called all 5, I just closed my eyes, and I was like, I just want to hear it. I was like, I don't want to be looking out anywhere. I just want to hear it. And again, it's not promised, because last year they didn't call it, you know. So this year, they said The Poet Who Sat by the Door, man. I just love.
Oh my God, bro! Come on, bro. Can we hold the Grammy up?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can we get a glimpse of? Yeah, it's real.
There we go.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. J.IVY, y'all see it
about the dough. Y'all know what it is.
That's what the guy right there, man. Man, that's so dope, man.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, Kanye, man, like that's truthfully when because I'm the type of guy, you know, was in music before radio and all that stuff. So, you know, I'm old school with it. So I care about the credits and all that stuff. And that's when I was introduced to you, because I want to know, you can't help but know when you hear that poem at the end. You know what I'm saying? It just was so impactful. How did that come about? I mean, Kanye, I mean, come on, man. We're talking about a legend and an icon. And for two, I mean, and now you're in legendary status, in my opinion. For you two creatives to come together like that, how did that happen?
Yeah, man. So I just done Def Poetry.
Right.
Man, big shout out to Stan Lathan, who came out to see me rock. To get me on that show. And after doing Def Poetry, moved to New York. And when I get to New York, Cootie, everybody know Cootie from Genius.
Yeah.
If you saw the film, I mean, that's the moment I land in when I get to New York.
Right.
And I'm running with Cootie every day. We kicking it every day, and he's documenting Kanye. And I met Kanye in Chicago briefly, but we had never worked together. So now, man, it was like a Chicago crew had kind of invaded New York. So we all clicked up and was helping each other, inspiring each other to chase their dreams. And then one day, after Kanye got in the accident, Cootie flew out to LA. Like if you saw the film, like he flew out. Matter of fact, when Kanye called Cootie about him coming to LA, I was in the car. I was riding with Cootie.
Really?
Yeah, Cootie driving. Kanye called. And then Cootie looked at me. He's like, "Man, this dude ain't supposed to be talking right now. He rapping. He on the phone rapping through the wire."
What?
He was right. He like hit me. Got hit his verse. He was like, "He ain't supposed to be talking," and he rapping. So he flew Cootie out the next day. So then, like every day, Cootie hitting me up like, "Oh man, Jay, we out here kicking it. You gotta get out here." Next day, "Oh man, Jay, we was just a Jamie Foxx crib, and him and Kanye did a song called Slow Jams, and I got it all on tape, man. You gotta get out." So then Saturday rolled around, and then it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm still new to New York. I've been out there living out there 3 months. I want to go out, but I ain't got $2 to get on the train, and the train was $50 back then.
Right.
But I was in a great space, because this was not too long after writing Dear Father. So I'm like, my spirit is elevated. I'm feeling like I can do the impossible. Like I can climb mountains and then climb another 5. Like I just felt like very empowered. And then by 11 o'clock that night, I was like, you know what? I was like, I ain't got money to go out. I'm gonna just chill. I got food in the crib. I'm gonna write. So when I'm like literally writing that first book I was talking about, I was writing the book, and I was actually on the part talking about me and my father reconnecting.
Yes.
When phone rang, and then Cootie like, man, Jay, you got to get to LA right now. I'm like, what's up? He was like, man, you need to get out here tomorrow if you can. I'm like, what's up? He's like, Kanye got a song with him and Jay-Z on it. He want to put a poet on it, and I told him he need to put J.IVY on it. I'm like, man, stop playing. Like, come on.
Right. He taking it too far, man.
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm like, bro, stop playing. You know,
broke, ain't got no money, nothing.
Yeah, like, right. He like, no, man. He's like, you need to get out here tomorrow if you can. So when I realized he was for real, I was like, oh. you know, so he played a song for me over the phone. I really couldn't hear the words. So he telling me what Jay-Z saying in his verse, telling me what Kanye saying. He's singing the hook. I was like, man, I'm gonna find a way. Hung up the phone. And my first thought was, you need to write something right now. So I was writing when he called. So I turned to a blank page and I wrote the date down, and I wrote the title down, and I wrote the first thing that came to my mind. We all here for a reason on a particular path. You don't need a curriculum to know that you're a part of the math. And then my mind went completely blank. And I'm like, man, this ain't the time for writer's block. So I started on the page. I was like, God, I need a piece right now. I was like, please give me one right now.
Right.
And back to the page, my hand just started moving. Right.
What?
Right. Line to line. Wrote a full page, turned the page over, wrote a few more lines. I stopped. I read over it. I was like, man, it's kind of hot. So I read over it 4 or 5 times. I called Cootie back in 10 minutes, like, dog, listen to this. So I spit the poem for him over the phone. He's like, oh, man, that's crazy. Like, hold on. So then he was like, man, then like the music get loud and people get loud, and then everything go quiet. I can tell you in another room, and then everything went quiet. He's like, Jay, I'm about to put you on speakerphone. Spit the poem again. So I spit the poem again, like I had done it a million times already. Right. I'm like, if I was on the highest cliff, on the highest riff, and you slipped off the side and clutched onto your life and my grip, I would never, ever let you down. And when I finished, the room erupted. Everybody, oh man, I'm in Brooklyn broke by myself. Like, what's up? What's good? What's up? You know, somebody tell me something.
They like it? Do they like it? I mean, like, you know.
So then I hear Kanye like, man, Jay, spit it again. I did the joint for like a half hour, a piece a minute long. And then Cootie, he finally got back on the phone. He's like, Jay, guess what? I'm like, what? He's like, Kanye flying you out here tomorrow. I said,
man, hold up, bro.
Man. I said, I found my way. Next thing I know, I'm on a plane to LA, bro.
Wow, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you know, like, this is your purpose, and you are walking in your purpose right now. Just listening to these stories, it's mind blowing. On top of all of the other influential things that you have done, all of the amazing people that you have connected with, yet you are still remaining humble with all of these accolades and everything that you have accomplished, and you are on this amazing path of change and still motivating, inspiring, uplifting. Man, that's what I'm saying, man. I love it, bro.
Hey, man, so many people did it for me, man. You know, you got to pay it forward, bro. Got to. But look, I give you a little side story. You know, so that same night,
it's exclusive now, y'all. We getting exclusives over here. That's all we get now. We got Jay on here now. Exclusive.
Yeah, people may have heard it once or twice before, but same night I recorded, right? Kanye played a song over and over and over again, and he was like, "Man, you heard a singer named John Stevens?" I was like, yeah, I've been hearing about him in New York. So he played this song. So he plays this song. Song is off the chain. I forget which record it was, but I know will.i.am produced it.
Wow.
So I'm blown away. I'm like, yo, this is cold. I'm like, it sounded like some Marvin Gaye, some Smokey, but like new though.
Yeah.
And so an hour later, John Stevens comes in the studio. I didn't know he was there. So I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? I was like, man, I'm J.IVY. I'm a poet from Chicago. I was like, I heard your music, man. I was like, it sound amazing. I was like, sound like that music from the old school.
Right.
That music my folks used to listen to back in the day. I was like, man, dog, you sound like one of the legends. I was like, you a legend. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to call you from now on. I'm going to call you the legend. So
bro, wait a minute, J.IVY. Don't do this to me, bro. I'm serious, man. It's been an amazing interview. Don't do this.
So I started calling John Stevens John Legend.
Oh my God.
And a couple of days later, but this is me and him talking, right? So a couple of days later, we in the lounge of the studio. It's like 10, 12 of us in the lounge. Kanye, Cootie, Tari there, because Kanye flew Tari in to sing. She sang on like 5, 6 records on College Dropout. Never Let Down, Family Business, Jesus Folks, Spaceships. Like her vocals are all throughout. It's Tari Ture and John Legend. Their vocals all throughout the album. So anyway, like in walks John Stevens. Everybody's shouting him out because John he got albums out as John Stevens. He signed Kanye as John Stevens. So everybody shouted, "Oh, John Stevens in the building, John Stevens in the house. What up, John Stevens?" I was like, "John Legend," and everybody looked at me. And they, "Oh, that's it." And Kanye was the name one. "You John Legend from now on. That's it. That's your name." So that's how he got the name John Legend.
Bruh.
I've been around. I've been around.
Wow, man. Like, I'm just like, me personally, bro, like, I didn't know that. Like, seriously, this is just absolutely amazing to me, man. Like, you really been around.
Yeah, it was just one of them things. Like if Miss Argue ain't made me do that show, if I ain't get, the blessings along the way, if Pops wasn't opening doors, if Stan Lathan ain't come out to see me, and then Cootie called me for, for the record. And then, it's just always been things like that.
Thank God for Cootie, man.
Just
them connections and those relationships, you know what I mean? And then to go back and see the Kanye doc and all and everything you saying right now, I'm imagining and envisioning it right now because I watched that thing several times, and it's just so crazy to me, man. Just hearing it, that like you got crazy stories, man.
Like you watch it, like Cootie's narration. I wrote his narration.
Right. You know what I mean? Like you've done so much. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like you custom, you narrated, with BT and for the award-winning film Muhammad Ali, the People's Champ, Martin, and the Legacy of the King.
Got that one right there.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like it's only like up from here and staying in that positive realm, and continuing on the path that you've been on. It's just been monumental. What's been the frustrating thing for you though throughout your journey from beginning, getting into this, following that path up until right now, what we talking right now? What has been something or some things that may have been frustrating to you within your journey?
Man, I think there's been some ups and downs. There's been some rock bottom times where things have gotten slow, making mistakes, mismanaging money.
Right.
I think managing relationships.
Yes, definitely.
Realizing, like finding out who's for you and who's not. But I think like the most frustrating is myself. Just always feeling like I could be doing more. I think that's what keeps me going. Like after Def Poetry, I remember watching that first episode of Def Poetry, like when I aired, like soon as I did I Need to Write, and as soon as I Need to Write went off, my thought was, what's next? I'm at the Grammys February 5th, balling, talking about mom, we did it, oh my God, balling out of control with a Grammy in my hand, and all I can think is what's next.
Right.
And I think is
you think that's bad though? Just
that part I don't think is bad, but I think the things that can be good can also be bad. So the things that keep you moving, there's more can stem from the same or the flip side of that energy is not feeling like enough and falling back pitfalls of just the bad habits of bad thinking and getting down on yourself and feeling like you're not enough and not worthy. That trauma that shoots up from your childhood, and you just have to constantly remind yourself to fight that off, because that's not the reality. So I think that's probably and I could be a better communicator. Like I'm great with words and creating, but I can be bad. My I said I'm gonna still put this book out, but the first title for my book was "I'm Not That Good with Words," and I came up with that title because this girl I was dealing with, she was like, "Man, you get on stage and talk to thousands of people, but man, you can't talk to me." I was like, "Man, really, I ain't that good with words." But I was mean to talk about. I was like, "Damn, that title cold. Let me write that."
Yeah, real talk, right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I like, for me, it's just always figuring out ways to fine tune and be better and know. But starting reminding myself to start at a foundation of you are enough. Like you
Mhm.
let's start there. Like you enough, and we can build on top of that, but not feeling enough and not, it's like, yo, we ain't got time for that. So I get frustrated when I waste time thinking that way. So it's just
Right.
like anything else. Like you got to exercise and just stay on top of just stay on top of your fitness, whether that's mental, physical, or spiritual. You just got to stay on top of it.
Right. Man, we got Grammys, we got books out. We're doing shows as we getting ready to wrap up, man. I want to show you this next clip as we're wrapping up, man. I just want to just remind you, because doing these shows and stuff like that, I feel like it's important with us in media to always, give you your flowers and always remind you, because you're always creating. And like you said, feeling like you're not enough at times and or I need to do more or whatever. But it's our job, and it's important for us to always constantly remind you that you are enough and that you have dedicated a large portion of your life to feeding us, your thoughts and inspiring us. And I wanna just show you this, man, because you did your tour, and I just want to remind you and give you your flowers of how you impact people. So y'all pay attention to this clip right here.
Brooklyn part, the Brooklyn Rain. Brooklyn Rain was, I didn't know. You from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy?
Brooklyn Rain, that's sweet. Brooklyn Rain, pouring down.
With the visuals and the clips and the back and forth and the singing, and oh my God, it was so good.
J.IVY is such a phenomenally blessed talent, and his words just resonate so deeply, so it meant so much to be able to watch it live.
It's an amazing show. Amazing show. The band is awesome. I couldn't get enough. I was hoping that it kept going, but unfortunately it had to end.
This is the first stop on the J.IVY Grammy Celebration Tour. Thank y'all for helping us kick it off the right way, New York.
Yo, love that, man. Love that, man.
You're enough, bro.
Love that, man.
You're enough. You know what I mean? And I just, me personally, man, I'm going to constantly remind you this, you know what I mean? Because, people don't understand sometimes, man, like, especially as a man, it's not easy. You know what I mean? And it's definitely not easy in this business, man. Like, you have a mindset of what you're trying to set out to do and what you're trying to accomplish. Even coming into this thing at the beginning, not even knowing all of these amazing things that you would embark on just from your words, your thoughts, things that you're thinking, and that it would impact people in that manner and in that way. You know what I mean? And you are here now and still remaining humble, still got a good foundation. You got your wife as a huge support system, nothing but love around you. And outside of that, that's your protective space. But outside of that, you don't know who you're dealing with. People come in all different shapes and sizes and disguise themselves. And everybody got these agendas, good agendas, bad agendas. And we don't know that. We just try to see the good in people. But I just want to applaud you again on all of your accomplishments, and just tell you from, a man to a man, like how proud of you I am that you are actually chasing your dream and fulfilling that dream every day. And now in a space now to where your words matter, your words are actually influencing and impacting people. And you are very, very important to the culture. And just praying that God continue to protect you and your wife and your family, and God continue to keep you on that path that you own, invested in positivity, because it's so much over there. And it's so easy to, take these proposals and all of these different things that's coming to you now. Winning the Grammy, people don't understand that opens up a huge door for you. That's more opportunities. That's more distractions coming your way. It's more all different types of characters and people, man. And I'm just asking and praying that God continue to protect you on your walk and your journey, because you're not stopping, and this is your purpose that you live in, man. So I just want to thank you again for blessing me and the team, because this meant a lot to us to get this time from you to come on here and share these beautiful stories and your story. And I just want you to know, man, that, you know, you're part of the Vibe family now. You have our full support, and anything that you need, if you're promoting anything or whatever you need help with or whatever from a media standpoint, that we can provide or whatever, don't hesitate to reach out, you and your team or whatever, because we are openly willing to support and help continue with the cause and the journey that you on, my brother. So I just want to thank you again.
Thank you, man. Thank you for that, man. Thank you for the prayer. Thank you for the love, the encouragement, because, you know, we need it. We pour out, but
Right.
we have to be poured into. And I really thank you for that, man. I receive that truly. And the support is needed, man. So I appreciate you and all of your supporters out there, all your listeners, man. Like, as love, man. Let's take this as an example to keep spreading love. Like, people, they need that lift. They need that lift. So I mean, if you creating, or if it's just you picking up the phone and saying what's up, like, yo, I ain't got time to talk. I just wanted to hear your voice. You know, just that those moments, they go a long way in people's lives. So let's keep rebuilding the village that has always been a part of us.
What's next for J.IVY, man? What can we look forward to? I know you got so many different things going on, man. What can we look forward to next from J.IVY?
Yeah, so we you know, the Poet Who Sat by the Door, we still pushing that. I'm working on a worldwide tour. So that's one of the next goals and dreams, is to get the Poet Who Sat by the Door just everywhere, any and everywhere, man. We want to keep giving people this live experience of poetry and music. Like you see, we had the whole band. So I want to take that experience to very big stages. And I'm still dreaming big, still feeling like I'm at the beginning of the race. So there's the album, there's more visuals, there's films that we're working on. We'll see what happened with this strike, and how that plays with timelines. But we also have Tari Teray's live performance, her live album of Catching Feelings, which I help co-produce and help co-write. So that'll be coming soon. It's a phenomenal project. So listen to the album now. You hear my writing, you'll hear me on her album as well. And working on this next album, man. We working on this next album. So I'm back in the lab right now with Tari Teray and Sir the Baptist and Omos Keith and Juan Woodbury and Aaron Richardson and who else we got? Reaching out to Terrence Martin and folk. So we cooking up something special, man, so we can release that soon and just keep creating, man. That's it right there. Keep creating.
The only thing I ask, Jay, is when you're getting ready to release whatever project you're getting ready to release or whatever, man, can you put us on that media list to include us in that promotional content so we can assist with helping with the push with our team, being able to push that material out there, man. You know, you are part of the family now. You come back on here whenever you're making your runs, your media runs, put the Vibe Show on that list. You come back through here. You're more than welcome anytime you want to. This is home now for you. You come back on here with those exclusives, man, and we're going to put it out there. We're going to put it on the radio. We're going to do whatever we got to do to raise awareness and get it out there to let them know that you're here, live, living, working, and feeding our souls and feeding our spirits, man, and pushing that positive motivation out there. So we love you, man. Can you put your social platforms out there in ways that people can connect with you if they're trying to work with you, if they're trying to find material on you, or they go catch up and get tapped in for the new listeners that's tuned in on the radio right now, whatever, that just finding out about J.IVY or whatever? Can we put them social platforms out there for them?
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the website, man. My website is j-ivy.com, j-ivy.com. My IG, Twitter, my thread is the letter J_IVY, J_Ivy. What else is there? TikTok, I'm on that, j.ivy. And then I'll be breakdancing on Wednesdays by the Arrows on 87. So
yeah.
So you catch me there, you know what I mean? But
right.
Yeah, stay in tune with me, man. Hit my YouTube as well, J.IVY Tube. And man, I appreciate all the love, man. The vibe show. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. And for anybody, man, who may be in those dark spaces right now and may be thinking about giving up on their dreams, or don't feel inspired, or don't have nobody encouraging them and pouring into them, and feeling low, and they're tuned in right now, or maybe gonna watch the replay of this or whatever, can you give them some words of inspiration before we get out of here?
Hey, man, you gotta keep going, man. I have my first single on my album is called Running. It features John Legend and a verse and Slick Rick. And
wow.
The first verse says, life is a marathon, a maze of magic and mystery. On our quest to make our mark on history, we're sometimes troubled by the terrain. It's tough, but the aim remains the same. The mountaintop, the podium, breaking through the tape at the end of the race, in spite of the pain. It don't matter what you're going through. It don't matter what you've been through. Your now is what you have, and you can use your now as a building block for the future. Like, talk about Grammys, man, that and that going from that moment, from Miss Argue making me do a show,
right?
That's 30 years in the making, man, and it hasn't always been up, but it ain't always down. And with that, I get to do what I love to do. So if you have a dream, hold on to it, work on it. Your gift, you was given your gift for a reason, so don't discount that. Don't take it for granted. I don't take any of these moments for granted.
Right.
So just keep going, man. Keep running. The hook says, I keep on running, but my feet don't get tired. Keep running, man. Keep running.
Wow. Yo, man. Dope. Jay, man, listen, I love you, brother. I want to tell you that. And tell your beautiful wife, man, thank you so much. Me and Strong Jewel, we just want to in the Vibe team, we want to thank you so much, man. Shout out to all the amazing people who actually pulled up and vibed out with us on the live. I want to shout out a few of them before we get out of here. Shout out to wow, a lot of people came on, and shout out to the radio listeners, man, out there who tuned in for my special guest, the one and only J.IVY, man. We thank you. We love y'all so much. Shout out to Live Vibe Radio. That's one of our family. Shout out to MM19832. We really appreciate you for hanging in there. Thank you so much to the one and only, the lovely Strong Jewel, the heart of Jewel Vibe, man. Thank you so much for that love. Shout out to the one and only Sunshine. Shout out to Sunshine. We really, really appreciate you so much. Shout out to the one and only Sky Wallace. Shout out to
Sky
Wallace in the building. Thank you so much for showing my special guest so much love, and everybody else, all y'all that sent your emails in. Listen, we're going to get to it. I'm sorry about that. This conversation was just so amazing. This interview was just iconic. Listen, we love y'all so much. Y'all make sure that y'all go and get the book. Y'all make sure that y'all go and get the album. Y'all make sure that y'all follow, subscribe, and tap into J.IVY. He has a lot of amazing things that's going on out here. We need to support this brother. We need to love on this brother and continue to encourage him, man. Jay, thank you so much.
Hey, man,
Tell
thank
your
you.
wife, I said thank you so much. We thank you, brother. We love you, man. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Love you, King.
Love you too, King. Much love.
Peace.
Peace.